ever pondered what it means to be a doer and not just a hearer? The scripture from James 1:22-25 offers a profound insight into this concept, urging us to be active participants in our own lives, not mere spectators. The scripture uses the metaphor of a man looking into a mirror. In this context, the mirror represents our desires, aspirations, and the ideal version of ourselves. The man who merely hears is like someone who glances in the mirror and then forgets what he saw. On the other hand, the doer is someone who not only looks into the mirror, but also remembers and acts upon what he sees. In essence, the scripture is encouraging us to actively imagine our desires and not just passively daydream about them. It's about making the transition from wishful thinking to thinking from the end, that is, seeing ourselves as the thing desired. The perfect law of liberty, as mentioned in the scripture, refers to the powerful principle of assumption. This principle liberates us from our limitations, allowing us to assume that our desires are already fulfilled. This isn't about deluding ourselves, but about cultivating an unwavering belief and confidence in our ability to achieve our desires. However, the scripture cautions us against being a forgetful hearer. To avoid this pitfall, we must keep the feeling of our fulfilled wish alive in our consciousness continually. This consistent mental rehearsal transforms us into doers of the work, and inevitably we are blessed in our deed with the realization of our desires. The scripture, therefore, urges us to apply the law of assumption actively. A profound understanding of this law is futile without its application. To see the desired results, we must be doers and not just hearers. The parable of the servant who failed to use his talent is a stark reminder of the consequences of inaction. Every man can imagine. This talent of imagining given to us, this power to consciously determine our assumptions, should be utilized wisely to multiply our blessings. Unused talents like unexercised limbs eventually wither and atrophy. The scripture emphasizes the importance of being in the process of doing. We must create an ideal in our mind and identify with it until we become one with the ideal, thereby transforming ourselves into it. This active transformation makes us doers, who are infinitely more magnetic and creative than mere hearers. In summary, the scripture of James encourages us to be doers of the word, not just hearers. It calls us to actively apply the law of assumption, maintain a persistent belief in our desires, and identify with our ideals until we embody them. Being a doer is about taking control of our lives, actively pursuing our desires, and transforming ourselves into the best version we envision. So, be a doer, for the dynamic always prevails over the static, the active over the passive.